Hey everyone, welcome back to Xbox On. I'm Bex, this is Henry.
What's up?
I've been somewhere very, very exciting, playing something very, very exciting that we're going to talk about in today's video. If you've seen the title already, yes, it's Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of it. I've seen what's good for new players, what's great for some hardcore sim players, what's great overall quality of life improvements, all that fun stuff. So stay tuned, get a cup of tea, sit down and listen to us chatting.
What were you actually doing out there? Did you get to play the game? Where did you go? Tell me.
Oh yeah, well I guess it would be good to tell you and the folks at home where I have been. I wasn't skiving off work, I promise. I was very lucky and had the chance to fly over to the Grand Canyon in Arizona.
How grand was it?
It's pretty grand.
Does it earn the name?
It's massive.
They have a habit of bigging things up over there, I think.
I mean, everything is bigger than we're used to here in the UK, but it was an absolutely spectacular sight. I have been, since I've been back, trying to conjure some words that really describe the feeling of what it's like to see something like that you know is fully natural made of this earth and older than pretty much anything you've ever seen before, because it's billions of years old, that canyon. Like,
billions?
Some of the rocks in there.
Wow.
Billions, which is, again, can't really comprehend that because I'm not that many years old.
No.
Despite what you might think.
Watch it.
But yes, was lucky enough to fly over there.
That makes for a really cool setting then if you're playing the game out there as well.
Yeah, I think what's quite common in flight simulator games is to obviously go and check out what the natural and man-made wonders of the world kind of look like. You kind of go and check out the big cities, maybe fly over London, see the skyline for that. Obviously Grand Canyon is like been a focus in the past for activities around it, and it is in 24 as well.
I think there's I might be wrong, but I think there's a lot of flying heritage in that location. Like don't they do like the races through the actual canyon?
You're right. So while we were there, actually, I'll lay out what happened. We went over, chatted to Jorg Newman, as well as some of the other team at Asobo, as well as some of their partners, all talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. Played some of the game early, which was very exciting, and then was lucky enough to go on a helicopter ride over the canyon itself.
Sick.
Now, the folks at home might not know this. Henry, you kind of know that I'm not a bad flyer, but I'm not the best.
No.
And so I
is
really put my
fear. You don't freak out or anything, but you don't enjoy a flight.
No.
Let's put it that way.
No, but
so it's perfect to send you on this trip. Whose idea was that? Great.
No, I'm very grateful for it because there's only one way to get rid of fears, and that's facing them and hurtling off the edge of one of the oldest cliffs in the world.
I think what Flight Sim's always been good at is allowing people to visit places that they'd never normally be able to reach.
Very true.
Or experience them in a way that they normally wouldn't, because you either walk on the ground there or you take direct flight paths that are commercial flights, whatever, to go from A to B. Whereas Flight Sim, you get to fly anywhere. So I need to ask about the game. Whereabouts did you actually get to fly when you were playing the game?
So where I chose to fly in the game was, I stuck kind of to the Grand Canyon mostly, because I did kind of want to, in the morning we'd gone to see it by foot, and then like you say, it's not often that you see these kind of sights from the skies. So I wanted to have an idea in my head of what it looked like in games, and kind of comparing it to real life as well.
Putting it to the test, like, all right, you always say that your game looks very realistic and true to life. Yeah. This is a great opportunity to test that out.
Exactly. Yeah. And there is, a huge amount of detail that's been put in compared to what we saw in Flight Simulator 2020, which already, I was going in with it, my head being like, what's more to add?
Yeah,
like,
really
this
looks
is fantastic. Yeah, how can you get any better? Was I wrong?
Turns out.
So yes, I kind of stuck to that kind of area a little bit. Also the Navajo reservation, that's actually right next to the Grand Canyon, where I am on the right there. That's it. And then
what jumped out immediately as being those differences between MSFS 2020 and 2024 then? Like, what was immediately obvious? Like, yeah, I can see the difference here.
Yeah, let's talk about what's new. There's a lot from what we saw, as well as what I experienced in game as well. I love Flight Simulator 2020.
We've played loads of it.
We played
So
loads
much.
of it.
Lots of landing challenges.
Yeah, they're great
Some
fun.
better than others, but yeah, it is just a solid game. Really enjoyable.
Luckily, they're still there. I believe
Good.
in 2024, not only is there a abundant amount of new stuff that's been added, everything that we did love about 2020 is there, but better.
Nice.
So we've got the most amount of starting airplanes in the base game that's free to unlock and play. So you've got so many different aircrafts that you can straight off the bat get into.
Not just planes, then, I guess, because they have added like other aircraft since the 2020 release.
Very
so
true.
Are those
So,
like carried forward as well?
Yes. So all the planes are carried forward plus some new ones. And then
Sweet.
we've got, like you say, the addition of like casual aviation. So hot air balloons, way more gliders, as well as bush planes.
Nice.
And yeah, some new helicopters straight off the base game as well. So loads more aircrafts. The airports, as well as the 10 cities that we kind of saw in 2020. So when 2020 would have a world update of like I'll use the UK and Ireland as a good example because it's relevant for us here in the UK. But like those world updates, they've taken all of those, implemented them into the base game for 24, and added way more starting off as well. Plus, the team did mention that they're continuing the trend of a monthly update in 2020, in 2024 as well, which is very exciting. And so, aircrafts, new areas to explore. The visual fidelity of low altitude was something that they were really keen on addressing, because in 2020 it gave a good it was like a good estimation of what an area might look like on ground, but in this one they've taken loads more data from they've accessed satellites all across the world. There is talent, or all across space. They've even looked at like rock displacement when you're landing on random grounds. Wow. Like you actually have to take it into account, like the grounds. Oh my gosh, such a big addition is obviously animals now. Fun fact about them: Jorg is besties with the people over at Zoo Tycoon, and
of course he is.
yeah. So it's actually their animals from Frontiers renders of capybaras and
like
giraffes and stuff. Yeah,
That's
from
helpful.
Zoo Tycoon.
Yeah.
They're in Flight Simulator. Again, communication, collaboration, Flight Simulator.
Nice.
What a lot of people are excited for, which I got to try out, was the increased amount of activities.
Yeah.
And
you say all the other
learning.
stuff's coming in, like we've already known and played and loved. You know, landing challenges, they're back. So like, what's new then?
What's new then? So another point that the team, this kind of comes under the umbrella of it, was that learning curve for new players. And what do you do past the tutorials and past the landing challenges? Because the landing challenges are almost like end game kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they have reworked how activities look like, and instead of just having the landing challenges category, that's now under the umbrella, like we say, of activities.
Okay.
And career mode, as well as
Yeah, I wanna hear about
world
career mode.
photographer. So
that's fun.
yes,
Yeah,
it is
I like
fun.
that.
So the activities are, there's a whole bunch of different ones. You can do things like and they have kind of taken, I guess, some of the collabs we had in 2020, like with the Top Gun Maverick flight challenges, the low altitude, high speed jets turning through the valleys. So that's in the base game. I actually did that through the Grand Canyon. It's still very hard, but I got better as it, as with any good practice makes perfect. We were getting there. That's super fun. So they've got things like that's just included all around the globe. They've got sections for precision landing for helicopters, as well as precision landing for planes and other aircrafts. They've got the balloon tours. They've got the actually they've partnered with Red Bull as well, and they have like, because Red Bull have some crazy aerial gymnastics that
they do like the Reno air races and loads of stuff like that.
I think it's that. So they have a full section of that kind of activities as well. There's loads and loads. How
does it all like feed back into, like you say, is this all under the banner of career mode, and then these activities like feed into your career mode tracker or stats or something, or how does it work?
So career mode, I only played a teeny tiny bit of it. I think those are separate, so you don't have to, you absolutely don't have to start the career mode to unlock those.
Right, they're just good to go.
You can play those.
Cool.
However, the career mode it looks so sick how they've set it up, and it makes the most like logical sense for what would a career mode in Flight Simulator 24 look like. So you start as your pilot, you get to customize your character, which I loved. So they actually worked with NATO on this, which is very exciting, to get hundreds of humans' faces scanned into the game. Where do they get these
contact books from? Like?
That's what I'm saying.
How are they talking to all these people?
How are they so connected?
Crazy.
I need to see
That's
their
cool,
parties.
Yeah. Oh man, they must be mad.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got NATO on board.
We got NATO on board. They really made sure, because obviously Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's not kind of a made up gaming world. It is based on human life and our planet, and so to best represent that, they spoke to some people. So there's a whole bunch of different customization options for your character, as well as some of the NPCs that you'll meet.
Cabin crew, doors to arrival and cross-check.
So you've made your character. You get to also choose your starting point anywhere in the world. There's tiny wee airfields that they've just put scattered hundreds and hundreds across the globe.
Sick.
So Bognor Regis is there, don't worry. Our hometown of Bognor.
So you can become like the hometown hero of like being a pilot.
Literally.
And I don't know, growing your empire from there sort of vibes.
Yes, so that's basically what it looks like. I started off, you go meet your flight instructor who owns the airfield. You talk to them, they take you on a wee training flight. You start learning the ropes through them, and you can take on challenges to get your private pilot's license. Once you have that, then you can take on loads of different jobs. So you can start, the way they've framed it is like through a branching tree kind of. So like you've got loads of different jobs. You've got also a specialization tree for heavy flying, or like some of the jobs are heavy load flying, or some of the jobs are advertising, like, you know,
Sky Banner.
And it's so in depth that and I think that's cool. Actually in some of the trailers you see like that already. Nice. Crop dusting, things like that. Wow. Oh yeah, David actually said crop dusting is like some of his favorite activities ahead of his hobo, because of how dangerous they are. Like
you
they
gotta
have
get
to
real low.
Yeah.
You got to be accurate when like dropping the load, I guess, because if you put it on the wrong, I don't know how it works. I've never farmed before, but I imagine if you put the nutrients or whatever it is on the wrong plot, then that could be bad. That could be expensive, like costly mistake.
Absolutely. And you've got the load to manage as well. So it'll start off heavy and it'll get lighter and lighter. Wow. Which is again another physics part of it. We'll get into that again.
Yeah, we'll talk about the simulation
ahead of
bits in a bit. Yeah, because I really want to know a lot about career mode, because I think a lot of people are going to spend a lot of time in it.
I think
with how, I guess, adaptable it is to like what career paths start sounding interesting to you as a player. And like when I think of flight sim, I never thought agricultural, the agricultural sector of being a pilot, that's a thing that was never even a thought in my mind. But then the fact that it presents you with all these opportunities and like a nice, so you said it's like a tree, so is it like quite a visual path you can sort of plot your way through and plan like, okay, well I want to start doing these jobs, so I'm going to need to head in these directions for like unlocking. I mean, what do you actually unlock? So
I think once you've got the pilot's license, you can then, like I say, start taking on jobs, and you have like kind of goals to aspire to, like, in order to then do commercial flights and stuff, because obviously mimicking a real pilot's kind of journey, you wouldn't you couldn't jump straight into commercial flying.
You need some accreditation, you need licenses,
So the way the career works is a mix of like in-game currency, which you can then use to unlock like your fleet of planes and whatever that you're wanting to buy, or the jobs like that you take on and stuff.
Planes or repairing them.
Yes.
If it goes wrong.
I mean, that is a big thing in career mode. So unlike in past simulators where you'll choose your plane for your flight, and there'll be, you know, if you're taking off, flying and landing the plane, you'll have some bits to go through on that might, you know, interfere with your plane, but it's kind of at the end, you know, that's all done when you finish the flight. Whereas in career mode, if you buy a plane and then damage it, or wear and tear is a real big thing in 2024. So if you're overexerting the engine, if you're forgetting to take the petit flags off of when you're doing your pre-flight check, which is something you have to do as a pilot, then that'll have
landings, like damaging gear and stuff like that.
That'll either be taken off of deducted from maybe the money that you make on the job, and also maybe out of the expenses that you have to make, which is really cool. So it is very much a career. It's a journey. It's a long path for someone to work through. No, absolutely not. And it is a lot of fun. Again, it feels accessible for all kind of experience, because it does start with your basic flight training. And if you are a simmer who's got hundreds of thousands of hours in the sim, then you'll breeze past it, no bother. You can easily unlock the pilot's license straight away, and then the tree is so branching that there is so much that you can do, and you'll be able to get to those like more extreme ones if you wanted to.
I love that it might also be a bit of a reality check for people.
Very true.
You think, this should be easy, I've done this for loads of times, and then they get down to it and they're like, oh, actually there's a lot of things that I've either forgotten to do because it's been like clockwork for me in the past, or it's good to remind yourself that these are like the proper steps you're supposed to take as a pilot. So it sounds like it's going to be useful for everyone. That's
what is so good about the career, is the variation of it. And like we were just mentioning, the specialization trees, you can decide if you only want to focus on a helicopter flying, then that branch opens up to you down the line, or vice versa. If you only want to do jets or faster like carriers like that, then you go down that tree. And then there's also the specialization tree like we were speaking about, that is just again even more variation to just flight path to and from one A to B destination. But in the career mode as well, really quickly, there's the activities is a whole different branch of other fun bits that you can do at any time. But there's like missions within the career that is similar activities to what you're playing under those modes. But there's actually between 2 and 3 million of them in game, because
oh my God. Wow.
So when you pick your region, as we started off, I actually started off just outside of London. I didn't go for Bognor, but it was close enough. There is a whole bunch of missions that like will update or generate in that one area that you're close to. And then so again, it'll be things like crop dusting, or it'll be things like flying advertising banners, or maybe it will be flying a private flight over a landscape or a
like tours
point of interest.
Those
are all kind of in that area, and then like also all around the world as well. So there's,
so you can relocate as well. Like you can say, I want to change my location, so I'm going to relocate from Bognor to like Rio de Janeiro, and you can live there now, and there'll be new jobs that populate in the new area you move to. That will be like scaled to like the challenge that you currently have, based on how much like development you've done throughout your pilot
Just
career and
exactly just like
Sick.
a real pilot, I'd assume, or would. You've got your home base, obviously, but then, like you say, there's jobs all around the world. So you know, Seattle-based flight crew also pulling banners across Bognor Regis.
Sick.
It's great.
All right, well, a lot of gameplay updates then, but I mean, it's also important to check up on how the sim is going. And you mentioned that they had to generate new air. Like,
Yes.
I thought the air was good already. Like, they obviously put a lot of effort into making sure the physics of flight were well represented. So, like, in the 4 years since the first game, have there been, like, quite big leaps they've made in that direction? Or is it more like fine-tuning the sim at the moment?
A little bit of both. It depends on what it is we're talking about. But overall, I'd say it's very much more on the whole new rework of things.
Wow.
Specifically for air, there's a complete new aerodynamic system in place for 24 that we had like a little bit of a demonstration with in engine that looks sick. So you could see kind of what the coders are obviously seeing with all of the different
when they switched the layers.
Yeah,
I remember them doing that for the 2020 game, and it was really cool to see like the air being like drawn through like propellers and stuff like that.
That's exactly what they showed us again with like a small plane on the runway taking off, and then a helicopter also taking off. So you saw just how much air would be circulating at any given time and how many layers and fine particles that they've had to add in to make that like more realistic as it is. A really important update to the sim that will benefit like so many players, especially console players that are wanting to jump into flight sim, but your core simmers absolutely as well. It benefits everyone. Is they're actually moving to a cloud client system for all the data in MSFS 24. So what that means is it'll make the minimum spec requirements for PCs, keep that nice and low. Consoles will be able to render it absolutely no problem. But also it means that we get caught out in this quite a bit, but downloading world updates, a thing of the past. They'll just be there. You don't have to keep buying extra physical data storage to implement those like gameplay parts. They'll just be there, ready to load on the cloud.
So I guess it's more like they focused a lot on the like efficiency of streaming that data to and from you, so that it's like I said, the fidelity is just as good, but also the load on your PC or your console is reduced. And I mean, file size, I must admit, in the past, world updates were a bit of a stinger. Having to download like another 10, 20 gigs, and like the file size did balloon a bit. So it's cool to hear that I'll be able to reclaim some of that and also lessen the load on my PC, because it will just be streaming data instead of rendering stuff, I guess. But we'll see how that works out in practice. But that sounds like a great move. Yeah,
another big thing that it will help overall is install time of the game, and also load times are much improved, which is a big feat when you are loading the entire world. But they were understandable in 2020, but they're much faster now, if that's something that is super crucial to your gaming experience, as we all probably are now. It's really good as well.
Nice.
We mentioned earlier briefly about like the visual fidelity of it in low altitude is a much more improved, but also around the plane itself they've added loads more little details, and something that I didn't even realize, as someone who's not from a game development background, but maybe you are who's watching, hello, they have soft textures in the game now rather than just hard textures. So the soft body sim is how they described it to us. So that means obviously it was kind of necessary when they wanted to include items like hot air balloons,
right?
But they've recreated those much more realistically with the soft body simulator, as well as things like the banners and ropes dangling down from like planes and stuff. So it's really interesting to see how all that interlaced to, that it was necessary for one part of the game, but it benefits the whole of it. And such little changes as well. One thing I just took away from the trip is that they're very much listening to their dedicated community, as well as very keen to encourage more people into that community, and are so willing to share. Again, going back to that communications, they're the best in the biz for it, apparently. So with all that, things will be uploaded as and when I believe that they need to make things necessary for those. So yeah, you're not losing anything back in 2020. They said that would still be supported. Absolutely, it's up to whoever is playing to make that choice. But 2024 looks absolutely sick.
I can't wait. I really want to play it now.
Yeah, another great thing about 2024, especially with such a enthusiastic community, is the marketplace is getting a wee bit of a revive or a redo.
Renovating it.
Yeah, I had a brief new look that looks sick. And something really cool about the marketplace is that you'll now be able to rent planes for the day, or aircraft, sorry.
Yeah.
So for a day or a couple of days, test it out, see if you actually like flying it. If you don't like flying it, then you've just rented it. It's fine.
Try before you buy.
Exactly.
Like
and if you do like it, that rental price will come off, which is really sick.
Oh, so you're not paying extra.
No.
That's cool.
And something is very exciting. You can now gift planes, which Jorg said he was super passionate about because he wants to gift loads of planes to different people. So yeah, you can gift
a plane, Jorg.
Yeah.
All of them. Come on.
The Xbox One fleet.
Yeah. That's cool though, because if you know, I think a lot of people forget that for many players, multiplayer is a part of their flight sim journey.
Yeah.
And so like, if you want to make sure everyone's flying the same plane in like a nice little formation, or for whatever reason, then you can take the initiative to make that happen for them by gifting them that plane, so that you can both fly together in the same thing. That's cool.
Another multiplayer point that you just reminded me on is something new called the Challenge League, which
that sounds fun.
It's really sick. So I was playing alongside a couple of our friends, Mike from Outside Xbox and Mr. Raffle Waffles as well. I was making sure I couldn't quite beat Mike's score, but I was all right compared to everyone else.
Damn,
but Mike is a great pilot. So basically the Challenge League is you'll get put into a division with I believe it's randomized players around the world, 14 others, and you'll get, every week there'll be 3 new weekly activities that you take part in to gain a score, and it'll be all different things. Cool. It's so sick.
I like that.
So
because they had the global leaderboards before and like your top 10s and your friends lists, but now it's like you have your casual simmers and then you have your competitive simmers.
Exactly. Exactly, because you'll get ranked based on your scores for that activity. And then that'll be like your wee league, and then every week, depending on the score, you'll probably either go up in it or you might get relegated.
Oh my god, promotion, relegation.
Exactly. Or you might just stay right in the middle. I don't know what the range is, if it's like up to platinum or high flyer, down to bronze or something. That's cool, but that's something I'm really, really excited for, a little bit of competition in. Nice. Henry, there's loads more that I could chat about,
I bet,
in Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. I would love to know what you lot at home are thinking, and also if you have more questions, I probably have the answers because I took
drop them down below in the comments.
Loads of notes. And yeah, if you're interested to hear even more details about it, we can absolutely go into the depth. I'll just take comments and answer them, like a press conference.
Just like that.
Is there anything else that you wanted me to answer before we do wrap up today's video on Microsoft Flight Simulator?
When can I play it?
Great question, Henry. Well, you can play it day 1 on Game Pass on the 19th of November, a couple months away.
All right.
And also, pre-order is available right now if you fancy any of the deluxe editions and some of the collectors. And there's also a physical edition as well coming for a console.
I have the physical of the 2020 and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Well, there you go.
Well, we'll definitely be streaming it as well on our Twitch. So if you want to see any of those landing challenges, maybe see if we get on in the competitive league as well, if we're any good at that. And yeah, like Bex said, if you have any other questions about Flight Sim 2024 or any of the other games coming to Game Pass pretty soon, or any other games that are hitting from our third-party partners, let us know. Maybe we'll try and fly out there, talk to those developers too, ask them those questions, get them answers for you as well. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.